I've been in those states, and I'm not kidding you, like literally and it was observed that actually literally the physical form had vibrated into light. Literally. It was observed by more than one person. So absolutely, as one is profoundly centered in consciousness and absorbed in consciousness, one's vibration changes. Now, in terms of this, you said about the addictive nature, this is such an important point. You know why people keep reacting? Because it's so much more obvious. You get an immediate sense of a result. There's a strong contrast. And the human condition is to chase after a strong contrast, a strong stimulation. It makes you feel alive. And that's why, actually, when you come into meditation and all of that drama starts to drop away, you actually feel a dropping. At first, you feel as if you're dropping through that heavy denseness, right? And then fear emerges because suddenly you're aware, actually, of how dense it really is. Was very close to this body density, right? But at some point, there's this almost like a precipice that you drop through that density, and there's this vacuous space that you're drawing back into. And again, fear comes up. Like you pull yourself out of that again, right? Because you think, no, where am I going? I'm dying. So the human condition is so identified with contrast of stimulation, and that's the addiction. That's why people get addicted to drugs, addicted to sex, because it's stronger stimulation, and the stronger the stimulation or sense of contrast, the more alive you feel. When in actual fact, it's totally the opposite. When you cease grasping after contrast and you exist with everything in all contrasts, you are more alive. What do you feel when you walk into an intact ecosystem? Every single possible stimulation is occurring in that field, but of its own natural accord, right? And what do you feel? Harmony. Synergy. In fact, even though everything is teeming with life, nature is screaming and bubbling and broiling and decaying and springing forth everywhere, there's profound stillness. In the middle of all of that teeming, stillness.
I also notice in that unconsciousness almost the capacity to create stillness in the unconsciousness, but it's not actually real stillness. It's a very subtle mind in which it goes, it's almost like I am still, but it isn't still at all, really.
Yeah, it's like the same. It's the same joke, you know. It's like, right, sit there, cross your legs, close your eyes. It's pretending you're still. Inside, there's turmoil going on still. Yeah.
Because I really have begun noticing how complex this mind is, and I never used to. Through meditation and whatnot, it really is becoming evident how complex it is in the ways it's trying to catch you, and it is so complex to the point where, when I am in this space, I start to attract events where people want to kind of take. And they really want to take that from you, and you're going, and then you fall, almost, and you have to think.
Okay, now, this is an interesting one, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit before, as to how it can be so profoundly difficult for you to maintain your center and conscious presence, because there not only are so many distractions, and you have layers and layers of unconscious, subconscious habits to engage those stimulants and distractions, but there's constant pulls, because there is such a contrast in vibration, and the natural momentum of all people and all things is to seek equilibrium. You know, your whole system is designed to seek a state of equilibrium. Existence is designed to seek a state of equilibrium. So when you're vibrating, wow, really high, it's actually quite disturbing, unconsciously so, for people around you who are really attached to their density. And so they try to pull you back down so they can relate to you because they're afraid that they're losing you. You're going further away. Now, I observed a really fascinating tendency, certain passage in my life, very early life, where I was continuously drawn to people who were really stuck unconsciously and really in the behaviours of unconscious kind of cycles of, you know, reaction and avoidance and all of this. And I started to notice that I realised it was like my being was trying to resonate its way into greater harmony with society, so I'd go and try and hang out with all the bad boys and the bad girls, and it was like somehow trying to tone down this frequency, you know. Yeah, really. I went through passage like that, and I was like, wow, look at that. Yeah, and you'll find it in your relationships too, that as you evolve, if you are evolving in a way that you are making that choice to be more consciously present, and perhaps a partner or a very close one is not, it's going to gradually become so dissonant that either there's a breakthrough and a reorganisation that happens, like a crisis point for a reorganisation, or a shifting away. Because otherwise it's like oil on water. Those vibrations actually don't sit in equilibrium together. And this is a really important one to understand. You know, when it comes to the spiritual path, so many people think unconditional love is, oh, I should stay here, I should accept this, I should be present to heal this. And no, sometimes it's just naturally part of the evolution. You're meant to vibrate on.